lot happened. A lot happened. So we're gonna get into the first topic. Head coach Juwan Howard and also head coach of Wisconsin, Greg Gard, got into an altercation this weekend after the Wisconsin versus Michigan game, where Wisconsin won pretty handily. And, they got into a little back and forth, and a couple people were being touched. A couple people got touched.
Some
So,
people don't like getting touched.
what do you think? What do you think about this situation?
Man, like this is great, right? Like this is
Wait. What?
no,
It's
no, no,
great.
no. This is no, this is
Dude.
great. This is great that we're breaking this down.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. I got you.
we're the right people for this, right? We're the
Yeah,
experts. So this
100.
is great.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
You know
I
what?
was
You're
called
right.
upon. I'm glad I was called upon to tell what should happen here. Listen, there has to be rules set in place beforehand for stuff like this. There has to be, right. You have to compare it to past experiences, and what I mean. Because here's the thing, man. We live in this. We talked about this last show. We live in this time where everything's on camera, right? Like, and so because of that, people are going to react differently than I mean, if you heard listen, this dude's hit people in practice and stuff like that, and we don't care, you know what I mean? But now you see it on camera, it's like, hey, that ain't cool. There, and then also there's a lot of stuff between between the whistles and after the game and stuff like that like I mean, regular people would probably go to jail for, right? So, but during the game, we're like, it's part of the game. But this one game, I don't know how long this game is actually. I don't know how long this suspension is, but 5 game. Okay, I think it's the appropriate response. I know people are saying fired and stuff. Like the only downside to this is he is leading guys who are still, what I mean, like they're still learning. Like he's, what I mean, like if Bruce Arians slaps a player, these dudes are in their 25, 30, like, what I mean, these guys aren't going to be like, oh, Bruce Arians said we could slap people, I'm going to go out and do it. But what happened was he hit someone, he hit the assistant coach, and then now his players all think like, all right, we can hit people. You know what I mean? That's the one big, huge downside is that, listen, he's supposed to be a leader to these guys. And so now what? You have to go in the locker room and tell them, do as I say, not as I do. Like that's a huge downside. But outside of that, I mean, I think it was the appropriate response. Like you have to gauge it off of is there a rule that says you have to get suspended, or cut or anything like that? You have to go off that rule. And then you also have to go off past things. Like what other coaches have hit people? And then how did they get fined for, so.
True. Go ahead, Walt. What's your take on it?
My personal opinion, I feel like Juwan Howard overreacted, honestly. Honestly, it looked like he was down big. It was 70, I want to say it was 76 to 61 or whatever. He got upset
some in that arena.
Yeah, he got upset because the coach was called a timeout or whatever with whatever so amount of seconds left, whatever, with him being down big. I mean, the coach said that he called a timeout for certain situations for his player or whatever. But at the end of the day, I mean, the game was already out of hand. So my thing is why I really don't excuse me. I really don't understand why he got so upset. Like just because he called a timeout for if he wanted to, change up the offensive play or whatever he wanted to do for the reason he called the timeout. But let him do what he wanted to do, bro. Like you already down. Like why are you so upset because of something that he's trying to do or trying to teach his players or whatever like I said, whatever the situation was. I don't see why he got so upset over that. I mean, honestly, then the fact that he said that, oh boy, like grabbed him when he was trying to touch him. Like don't. I feel like when you try to talk to people, sometimes you do go like say, hey, bro, like hey, I was trying to because he said he was trying to explain it to him, and I do talk with my hands a lot too. So it's like I kind of understand what the other Wisconsin assistant coach was saying. So I kind of talk with my hands as well. So maybe he did accidentally touch him by accident, whatever. But
that's the thing, right? Is the head coach is the one who touched him, and then he ended up. And if he would have hit him, people might have said, you know what, you touched him. Well, I say hit him is a little extreme, but if he pushed him back, people would be like, you know what, you touched him, you get pushed. But Greg Gard touched him, and then the head coach touched him, and then he went and hit the assistant coach, and that's where it's like,
But that's what I'm saying. Even if you look
Yeah.
at the video, it's like he like barely touched him though. It's not like he was trying to do it aggressively though. It was just something like, hey, I'm trying to explain something. I'm talking to you. I didn't mean to put my hands on you, but at the end of the day, I just felt like, Howard kind of overreacted, and what I'm saying? That's just typical Michigan folks. No, I'm just playing, but I'm just playing. But no, it's just
Hey,
overreaction.
hey,
Overreaction.
you know what?
I'm a little
That
surprised.
team
Man.
up north. That's what happens when you do that.
A lot of teams,
Ohio State all day. I'm just saying, but I can't even say that though, because Brady, he's from Michigan though, and he set a good example for Michigan. But I'm just saying,
Look,
like,
dude, hey, a dead clock is right once a day.
Twice a day.
But yeah, that's
All
my
right,
take.
I give him twice. They got him and Derek Jeter or Alex Rodriguez. One of them went to
One of
Michigan.
them. So they got some good Samaritans that come out of
Yeah.
Michigan.
Only them two though. Everybody else, whatever. And a president. Damn, they got a lot. All right, but honestly, guys, when I first saw the video, I said Juwan Howard. I didn't see a problem with it, but after watching it, because they played it everywhere, multiple times, he overreacted. Now, like John said earlier, if he slaps the coach after he grabbed him, that's different. But you slap somebody that didn't touch you, So that I think that's
Like,
what.
what do they always gauge in basketball is the reaction, right? Like if Zaza Pachulia trips you, and then you swing on him, like you know what I mean, like you're gonna get the tee, you know what I mean, like, and so that's what basketball is a heavy. The referees are heavy on gauging the reaction over the initial, whatever, and so yeah, I mean, you got a guy who put his hands on you, and then you swung on another dude. It's gonna be hard to defend that. I mean, this isn't Myles Garrett versus that clown from Pittsburgh. Like, this isn't like that where this dude just kept coming at you, and finally Myles Garrett had enough. You know what I mean? Like, this dude just kept coming at him. Like, I was fine with that.
Also, we don't know because sometimes coaches they've had run-ins before, someplace we haven't seen, maybe Big Ten basketball media day or games before this season or games earlier this season. But, to what Walt was saying earlier, the way he grabbed him was like, hey, hold on, I'm talking to you, kind of, and then I think that's why Juwan was like, hey, don't touch me. Come on, bro. You see, I'm not in the mood.
He wasn't trying to be disrespectful. It's like, because like I said, like sometimes I talk with my hands, but I don't, I try my hardest not to touch anybody, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, I talk with my hands, but if I do touch you, I'll be like, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize, boom, boom, boom. Not saying that the assistant coach maybe didn't do that, but it just probably
I'm strictly talking about the head coach.
Got you, okay.
When he grabbed him, when he was, because if you watch the video, Juwan is like, look, I'm done with dude. I'm about to go to the locker room. He kind of grabbed him like, hey, I'm talking to you. And Juwan, that's when you see him like, hey, don't grab me. Don't touch me. And then, that's when it started getting physical.
Right.
And I don't actually understand the unwritten rule that we all have to shake hands anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, man, if a dude's mad, I don't think that's poor sportsmanship. Like, if you're mad, like, you can get, like, if you feel like you put everything into a game and you just disappointed with the way it turned out, I have no problem with that. Like, 100%. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think people have to go shake hands anyways. Hey, man, let a guy go blow off some steam, whatever, and then they come back, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, Juwan Howard, great guard, was up 19, pulled all his starters, put the subs in. Juwan Howard leaves his starters in.
He left 2 starters in.
Okay. And then he put the full court press on the other dude's bench players, right?
You see, that's why he called the timeout, because he didn't want to put his players in a position.
Well, it worked. So he put a full court press on Michigan and on Wisconsin, and then it worked. It led to a turnover, and Michigan scored a bucket, cut it to 17. So there was like 15 seconds left on the clock. Well, you get a 10 in college, you get a 10-second backcourt. So they just called a timeout. So at like 15 seconds, they called a timeout again so that they get another reset the backcourt clock. So now they could stay in the backcourt for another 10 seconds and run the clock out while he tried to run this full court press on him. And man,
At the
Call
end
it
of
petty. That's using the rules to your advantage. Like
at the end of the day,
like that's what you got to do. And like either that, or he has got to put his starters back on the court.
at the end of the day, Greg Gard, don't touch nobody. If you see they not, they're not trying to talk to you. And this is for
Right.
anybody watching this. If you see somebody is pissed off,
Someone
don't be the
6'9".
person to, hey, what's wrong, and grab them because you might get swung on. You just
Yeah.
might get swung on.
I'm about to say, just
you
don't walk up to a random person and ask them what's wrong. But if we in sports, I'm not gonna lie. I am a big person. I mean, I'm big when it comes to sportsmanship.
Won't be
regardless.
touching up other coaches after the game.
I'm not touching. I'm just saying. I shake my hand though. Like I don't care if you lost or not. I want you to shake my hand though, because
No.
regardless, it was a good game. You feel me? And you could go. You go be mad in the locker room, but you gonna shake my hand.
Hey, I ain't shaking your hand. I'm an Isaiah Thomas.
Shake my hand. It's a respect thing, bro. Real talk, man. That's
Hey,
I'm an Isaiah Thomas. Whoever.
Hey, for the young
Keep me
crowd,
upset if you want to.
for the young crowd,
I'm sorry. That's my coaching talking, man. I'm sorry. That's the coaching talking in me. I apologize. That's the coaching.
for the young crowd that don't get the Isaiah Thomas reference, will LeBron James you?
That's pretty much. Yeah.
I don't mind. It was in the bubble.
Hey,
man, it was in the bubble. These guys were seeing each other every single day. Like they probably went out to lunch that day. You know what I mean? Like I have no problem with
They
LeBron.
might have got something to eat after the game. Who knows?
Right.
They ain't got nowhere to go. I'll see you at the food court. It's open 24 hours.
I don't know. Austin Rivers did say he had a special suite apart from everyone else. So
yeah, his
father. He might have did. He got the money to do it. Why not? I want to be around. I don't want to be around other people anyway. Let me be in a suite.
Let's